Alright, on this one, I got my books here, a couple old books. I wanted to touch on things that can be verified versus things that can't be in the supposed conspiracy field. What am I talking about? What am I speaking in reference to? Well, let me give you an easy example. My favorite thing a couple years ago, and I was a subscriber for a while, is okay, now you'd hear everybody was a Freemason. So basically, if there was a situation in history where something happened and a person was a Freemason, that means the Freemasons ordered it and they carried it out through that person. And at least to that point's credit, even though that isn't always what you think it means, alright, the person was proven to be a Freemason. Okay, fine. So you got that. But then there was a new sector that comes in and they say the person was a Knight of Malta. And it was like, that was like the new big shit. Oh, the Knights of Malta. Oh, the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, or the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem Order of Malta, or the Freemasonry degree of Malta, whichever one you want to take it to be, which it would be the SMUM. But they don't have a public membership list. Okay, so if you say James Jesus Angleton was a Knight of Malta, or if you say that Rupert Murdoch is a Knight of Malta, or a Teutonic Knight, or whatever knighthood you prove, number one, if they were that doesn't necessarily prove anything. But number two, you don't even have the proof that that's true. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have the proof that that's true. Now, Colin Powell was a member of the Order of the Bath. You've had many diplomats and statesmen who have gotten foreign orders of nobility. That information's out there. It's not a secret. So, these higher chivalric and noble orders do exist. The Order of the Garter and so on. But let me ask you this. Since you're up on that and you know the ins and outs of how that's supposed to work, these inner rings of the circle, Emperor Hirohito, you know him, surrendered, was dethroned as Emperor of Japan. He was a member of the Order of the Garter. He's suspended from the order. He gets back in the 70s. Okay, FDR was a Freemason, was a Shriner. He was a Knight of Pythias. He was an Eagle, too. Okay, Churchill was a Druid and a Freemason. Okay, Hitler, the Thule Society, and the Brotherhood of the Belt, or whatever you want to, the Teutonic Knighthood, whatever you want to call him, he was in something too. Stalin and Trotsky, those guys were Freemasons too, according to Trotsky's autobiography. So, what does that mean? Who's pulling whose chain in that situation? Okay, I just ran the names down to you. Trotsky claimed that Stalin and all the upper echelons of the Soviets were Freemasons, and Hitler was probably a Freemason, even though they supposedly closed down a lot of lodges and put some in death camps. I don't even want to get into the Holocaust. That's another big can of worms. But that's another example. Who's pulling whose chains if these people are all this or that? Okay? Because, quite frankly, World War I, World War II, they were all fucking cousins. You know what I'm saying? The Kaiser, these people are all interrelated. Nicholas, the Kaiser, and the Queen. This is like a family affair. But yet the people below them, in the Battle of the Marne and all these trench warfare battles, are being killed, slaughtered in the hundreds of thousands per day during some stretches of these wars. But these people above them are in certain groups. What does that mean? But yet they're killing each other. Case in point, for the black people. Malcolm X was a Freemason, supposedly, and I've heard that. I haven't seen the lodge rolls that confirm that. See, that's what I'm talking about, because, the difference between speculation and fact is that there's concrete evidence supporting a certain fact or theory, as opposed to somebody just saying something. That's the difference. Like, there are a myriad of different history books. Like, this is a good one I like. Okay, this is a book that's almost 80 years old. This is H.G. Wells' Outline of History. This is part one. It's a good one. There are a lot of other books, but that's the difference between real research and bullshit. You have to get into the real dusty, old, crusty books, as Ellen White says, that are not fun reading, but You might have to skim through 500 pages of Plato to get to that gem. And they're out there. Okay, the same speech that Darius, the king of the ancient Persians gives about the different forms of government and which is best, that's in Herodotus' history, and it's also in Plato's Republic. So that same knowledge was known there between those two ages and two systems, and they know that today when they talk about democracy is the last government before dictatorship. Okay, this is a thousands of years old scheme, and they know the answers to these equations. That's the point on that. But what can you really verify? Have you seen a reptilian? I'm just asking you. Okay, is every Jesuit at every church, if he had the chance, would kill a baby that's not Catholic? Do you really believe that, or that's what you've been told? Let me, and you're gonna hate me for this statement I'm about to make right here. Is every Freemason at the lodge in your town, because odds are there's one there, as he sits back and smokes cigarettes and drinks beer with his brothers in there, is he plotting on how to fucking screw you over? The average Freemason, oh, they're porch masons and blah, 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 blah. You don't know what's really going on. Really don't know. When it gets behind closed doors, we supposedly have all these, once again, getting to unverified sources and speculation. John Todd, I love John Todd. I love a lot of his information, but you can't verify it. A person will come out of the shadows and say, yeah, I was in this group, that group. This is what goes on. This is how it really works. These are the real secrets. Only I can give you this information. And you just have to take my word for it. And here's the evidence. Here, look at this. Look at that. Leo Zagami is another one. Okay, like I mentioned before, Benjamin Fulford. Where do these people come from, and what are they really saying? What are they really telling us? Are they just divergent agents? Because if you can't prove or sustain anything they say, then what's the point? Now, if I say the Catholic Church system is the root of the Mystery Babylon system, and all its trappings in every form, in every way, matching the Bible and history 100%, I can show you the history that backs that up. Okay? If I say the Da Vinci Code and the bloodline of Jesus and Mary Magdalene and all that is some bullshit, that's because I can show you Catholic books where they basically started that legend. I'm gonna get you one if I can right now. Because see, we have to have the documentation and the true information of what we believe. We can't be swayed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, as the Bible itself states. Okay? And if you're not a big Bible person, okay, fine. You can believe science, or you can be Buddha or Quran. That's not the point. The point is, there's a lot of bullshit information out there that's only meant to have you chasing your tail and get no closer to the truth. And once you know the truth, this is the difference about really knowing the truth. Once you know the truth, you're not going to be able to spread it to the world. Okay, you're not going to change the world just because you really know what's going on. Okay, and by you voting or by you locking and loading, that ain't going to bring down the monster either. You know what I'm saying? John in Revelation marveled at the beast. You ain't going to stop it, but are you getting prepared? It's fun to study it. Look at all the iconography and the symbology and the occult, this and that. I know it's fun. It's interesting. But if you're not getting to the true thread and vein of the information, then what's the point? Because there's so many sidetracks, so many diversions. You'll be looking for shadow people, inner earth people, mole people, reptilians. Okay, are there Jesuits under your bed? Are there Masons in the closet out to kill you? Or is it all these groups working together at the top levels, but abusing everybody at the bottom, regardless of race, color, creed, or religion? Okay? Because if you ain't got dollars, you ain't in anyway. We're talking about $1 billion club. Okay? Fuck the petty millionaires. Those are the ones that are going to get screwed with the Occupy movement. You own a business, they're coming for you. Okay? You an independent white man living on the land, they're coming for you. Okay? Not the Warren Buffetts, not the Bill Gates who are just their puppets who they created and control. Smoking Man in the Iron Mask, back at you again. And I hope to see you next time.